I made the list we talked about last week. I sorted everything into the now queue in the parking lot, and then I did something I didn't expect. I changed it, because once everything was out of my head and on paper, something shifted. The list started telling me things I didn't know I already knew. That's what we're walking through today. So as I was going over those multiple list items, I had my own thought of what priorities I had. I sort of set in the now queue 5 things. I think that's pretty much a good limit for the now queue, 5 or 6 items, no more than that. I walked away from that list, and the next day, I kind of just realized that the nervous system item that I had that was down in the parking lot, which is that, Brandi and I have work to do on our nervous system health, and deals with issues of like hypervigilance and things of that nature. And so basically the bottom up approach instead of the top down approach. That was something we needed to work on. But I realized that next day, like, that's really a higher priority. Like, even though I'm looking at these other things that for projects and stuff that needs to get done, our quality of life and our ability to do the things that we need to do, our energy and everything, really is dependent upon being healthy in our nervous system. So I just saw it more clearly when I came back to the list, like, that doesn't need to be in the parking lot, that needs to be up in the now queue. That needs to be something that I work on immediately. So I went ahead and that same day, put it up on the number 1 item of the now queue and corrected it so that was something we could start working on. And went ahead and got to work on that actually. What you think matters when you first make the list, it ends up being different when you actually look over it again, when you actually come and revisit it. Like, your consciousness gets restructured by making the list. And, when we first decide something like, these are the things that we need to work on, these are the things that we need to do, that's an act of willpower. But what the discovery process allows, which we're still in the beginning of with the making of this list and everything, what that allows is you can actually go from just making a decision to actually making realizations. And I made a realization that was a more important item. That was something we need to work on. Like, that's what you're dealing with discovery, is you're dealing with more than just what immediately comes to your mind. There's refinement, there's iterations. So revision is the system actually working. Your first list is what your conscious mind knows. Your revised list is what your whole self knows. The gap between you and where the real information lives. So changing the plan isn't failure, never changing it is.
What if you keep revisiting the list and you never actually commit to anything? How do you know when to stop discovering and to start doing?
That's an excellent question. So, number 1 way to know is that you'll find that relief is the signal. So, discovery is done when the list produces relief instead of anxiety. Not because everything's solved, because you finally see the terrain. You've gone into discovery mode, and then you're going into strategy mode. And that's where you're going into next, is you're now defining what's actually important here, what actually needs to get handled first. And sort of the quick gut check, that's what brings you back to your values. That's what brings you back to like what's really important. And yeah, you do have to be careful that you're not just procrastinating other things that are important that you need to be doing. You have to be aware of that potential. But in reality, when in your gut you're doing the right thing, you're doing the thing that really needs to be done, the thing that matters. And another thing too is it's okay to be led by your interests. It doesn't always have to be the hardest thing. It doesn't always have to be the most intimidating thing or whatever. It's not all about not avoiding either. It's also about trying to pick like the lowest hanging fruit, figuring out what's really going to do you the most good in the end. And that's when you step into the strategy mode, which is just one question. Given what I know is true, what's the first right move? That's it. That's strategy. So you want to figure out, as you hit that point of like, yes, this is now good. This is my now cue. These are the things I need to to start working on. Your next thing of clarity is, all right, well, top list of that now cue, top list of the item, what do I do to start making that happen? You start breaking that thing down into steps. You start figuring out the first thing you need to do for that to be realized, for that to start happening. And so that's where we've gone from discovery. Now this is strategy. Now we're strategizing. The next step is going to be execution. It's going to be actually doing it. Here's your one step. Go back to the list you made last week, look at your now cue, ask yourself honestly, does this still feel right? Or did something shift when you stopped carrying it all in your head? If something changed, revise it. That revision isn't weakness, that's wisdom. You're not planning your life, you're learning to hear it. Wisdom first, always.